haters out there. Fuck you. This is not a fucking hobby. You're listening to the most relevant sports show on the internet. He's a combat veteran turned entrepreneur turned sports journalist. And she has an IQ higher than your entire family combined. It's the S3, and it starts right now.
Yeah, I love that intro, but like, they don't know how accurate that actually is. Like, you're wicked freaking smart. So, like,
I don't know about all that, but thanks.
Plus, we do have a lot of haters, especially ones in like director positions.
Right.
No, all the
For some
traditional
unknowable
media
reason at this time.
You're not traditional media.
Right.
Yeah, you're not a real man. So
that's the point. The point is to not be traditional media. So
I heard an old quote one too. It was from it was an old movie. It was a black and white movie. The guy goes he says to the woman, he says, "Have you ever been confused for a man?" She goes, "No. Have you?" Love it.
That's pretty good.
Great. Pretty good. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the S3. I am JD, Jeff Demers. She is Ms. Marnie Tisdale, also known as Ms. Lady M. We've been doing this for a while, kind of running our own business, doing our own thing, and just pissing people off while we're doing it. I kind of like it. I like it. You know, we make the friendships and the partnerships that we're going to make. You can't please everybody. So, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Like, we found a way to immerse ourselves in the world we love, not just around sports, not just around marketing. We've got a brand new company that we're launching in Roughhead, Arizona. You can check them out on Facebook right now. If you're a dog owner, you love it, check them out. We're kind of doing a soft launch this week. It just hit me today. We're gonna jump into the show in a second, but it just hit me today. We took 3 weeks of vacation the last 3 weeks because we said we needed a break, and in 3 weeks we built an entire business completely from scratch.
Yeah,
website, products, everything.
We're not good at breaks.
That was our break. That's how we break. When we say break, we break. Like, no, we don't. Apparently. But it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. Sports and dogs, and marketing. So it's going to be fun. So what's going on, everyone? Again, welcome back. It's our first show since we decided to take a break a few weeks ago. What do we got going on today? We've got, obviously, we talk a lot about what's going on in the Valley of the Sun. We always do a deep dive into the world of NASCAR. NASCAR just came back, or is coming back from Mexico. It's Mexico. Okay? It's Mexico. For us white people. Understand that. Oh, hold on. No, it was foul ball. Damn it. I got the D-backs game on over here.
Of course you do.
I'm kind of watching it. Josh Naylor just a bit outside. He missed that one. All right. So we actually got a lot to cover today. Blockbuster NBA news, trade rumors heating up in Major League Baseball, drama on and off the field, and some absolutely horrible dad jokes that you're probably not ready for. But first, real quick, if you're in the market, sports fans, for a new or used vehicle, maybe it's time to upgrade your ride, get something more reliable for the family, or finally treat yourself to that dream car. Whatever the reason, there's only one person to see in the Valley, and that's Mr. Kevin Moore at Liberty Buick. He is the man over at Liberty Buick. He's the internet director. So if you want a no-hassle deal, you go to the internet guy. I know this because I used to work for him a long time ago. We didn't make crap on our internet deals because we were competing against everybody else. So we had to put the best deals out there, which is why I know not only can you trust them, but the current car that we have, we went to him for our 2016 Chevy Trax that I kicked the crap out of almost on a daily basis, and it purrs. So it's due for an oil change here pretty soon, though. So we got to go get that done. But go down. Don't wait. Head down to Liberty Buick and ask for Kevin Moore today. Tell him JD sent you, and you can thank me later for that. All right. What's first?
Headlines and horrible dad jokes.
Well, the headlines may or may not be horrible, but the dad jokes definitely are. Let's start out with headline number one. This kind of caught me by surprise today. The Buzz family has agreed to sell the Lakers to Mark Walter, who currently is the owner of the Dodgers, the majority owner of the Dodgers, at a $10 billion valuation. It will mark the largest sale of a U.S. professional sports team all time. Jeannie Buss will still maintain her position as the Lakers governor. The Lakers have been owned by the Buss family since 1979, originally purchased by Jerry Buss and passed to his children when he passed away in 2013. His daughter, again, Jeannie Buss, has served as the Lakers governor ever since. The $10 billion sale will crush the sale earlier this year of the Boston Celtics at $6.1 billion. Just a meager $6.1 billion for a professional sports team.
That's crazy. But the Lakers do have like an almost cult.
They do.
So when you look at it that way, I can kind of see why they would have outsold the Celtics, but it's weird. It's weird.
Lakers, Celtics, Yankees, Dodgers. I'm trying to think. Maybe the Florida Panthers now after they just won. I did not put that as a headline, so I'm going to throw that in there. They just won back-to-back Stanley Cup championships. So the argument we're gonna sneak some hockey talk into this before we go on to the first joke. But I was listening to sports radio this morning, 98.7 today, Arizona Sports. They were having a discussion. It says, "Is it a dynasty? Are they a dynasty? Because they've been to the finals 3 years straight. They have now won the last two." I say no, because a dynasty is usually 3 titles within like so many years. It's usually like 4 or 5 years.
A little bit more. Like if they get another title in the next couple of years, then then
it would be a dynasty. It's got to be 3, right? You got to say that. I mean, that's got to be the standard. Because if you start doing back-to-back championships, then you start bringing in like a whole bunch of other teams,
right?
That you can call dynasties now.
Yeah.
Just having a good run, a short good run, even winning 2 out of like 3 or 2 out of 5 years is a damn good run. Just winning 1. They will settle for 1 here in the Valley. Trust me on that. They will definitely. They just won 1. There are 2 teams here that have never won a damn thing.
Yeah.
And the one team that has won is currently losing 2-0 up in Toronto. So, all right. We'll talk on the D-backs here in just a second. I'm going to try and keep my eye off the screen, but it's a little difficult because it's right there. All right, first joke. What country's capital is growing the fastest?
I don't know what.
Ireland. Every day it's Dublin. That's what? All right, headline number 2. Tyrese Halliburton confirmed he does have a right calf strain, but did say he will do whatever he can to play tomorrow night in Game 6. He is currently being rated as a game-time decision. And here's the thing.
If he plays like he played the last night where he got no points, he did nothing to help or contribute at all, it might...
That's not entirely true.
No?
Everything... Well, he got no points. That was true. But he still had like 6 rebounds and 4 assists.
Okay, so there was a little bit of the side stuff, but would it be better to put someone fully healthy in there?
I might have switched those up. It's either 6 rebounds, 4 assists, or 4 rebounds, 6 assists. But he did do something on the court. Look, even a Tyrese Halliburton that's at 60%
it's better than nothing.
Is better than no Tyrese Halliburton right now. Like, so there's so many different ways you can look at this. And you know me with my ADD, I never stay focused on one thing ever. So the first way that you can look at it is Indiana has the opportunity to win their very first title in franchise history.
Right.
It will not happen without Tyrese Halliburton. They played 3 games with him last year in the postseason, and they lost all 3.
Right.
Right? Now, I like some of their bench players. Like, I like Mathurin and the little white dude. Can't think of his name right now, but he's probably going to be on my team tomorrow, my DFS team. Everybody else knows who the hell I'm talking about except for me, apparently. They do have him, but he is not the answer to how they're going to beat OKC. Personally, I think this series is over. Okay, but if this may be your last shot, to go after this title.
See, I don't know the team well enough because if they had enough people that were decent players, like I'm spoiled.
We got a decent bench.
I'm spoiled by the Celtics though, where you've got like 7 rock stars. So if you have 3 of them out, then there's still 4 rock stars on the court, right?
Right.
My way of thinking is, wouldn't it be better to have people playing at full capacity?
Yeah.
But if he's their sole superstar, and
they have Siakam. They have shooters. They got Nembhard, Siakam, Mathurin, and a few of the Turner can turn it on. Like just one day, you'd be like, "Oh God, he sucks," and then he comes out and hits 7 3-pointers the next game. So he can do it, but to beat OKC without Halliburton, you're asking a lot.
Too much, yeah.
You're asking a lot to do. Yeah, man. On the other side, if you have him push and he comes out, I mean, potentially, look, I don't wish this on anybody, even if I hate, like, I don't like LeBron James on the court, and we're going to talk about him in a second. I would never wish an injury on LeBron James.
Right.
There is a potential that if you push a calf strain,
we could turn it into a tear.
Something's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Could get worse. And then you're missing most of next year.
Right.
Now, your window to win is short.
Maybe they'll be a little conservative and like withhold him at the first part of the game.
Right.
And if it's really desperate situation, chuck him out there in the second half of the game to rally.
See, I'm on the fence on this.
I'm quite about even sure with that.
I'm on the fence on this because I think it'll be easier to build my DFS team if he's just not in the game.
Probably.
So, yeah, because then like the little engine that is going to get more assists or something like that, Right. Who wins this game tomorrow night, with or without Halliburton? Is this series over tomorrow night?
No, I do. I agree with Malika. I think that's going to get pushed to Game 7.
Okay.
I just feel like
from ESPN, right?
Yeah, they're both fighting tooth and nail and just taking turns being the winner. So
now, to be fair, she made that prediction before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting. We're definitely going to watch the pregame.
I still think there's a chance. I still think there's a chance that them going the 7th.
All right. So, did you know I once got fired from a canned juice company?
No.
Apparently, I just couldn't concentrate. All right, moving on. That was stupid. Headline number 3. I promised we'd talk about him. Here he is. LeBron James criticized the discourse around ring culture in the NBA, saying, quote, "A ring is a team accomplishment," and pushing back on the idea that a player's individual greatness is measured by how many championships he wins. Quote, "Trying to nitpick an individual because he was not able to win a team game or a team match or whatever the case may be. I don't know where it started, but it's a long conversation, especially when it comes to me individually," James said on his Mind the Game podcast with Steve Nash. Quote, "It's so weird. It's never enough. I don't understand where it came from. I don't know where it started," he said. To which I say, really?
Yeah,
really?
Taking it a little personally. I could definitely think of really excellent players and all across all sports. Like Christian McCaffrey is a great example. That man deserves a ring on his finger.
Oh yeah,
but he hasn't had one to date because his team hasn't
had one yet.
That final push. So
to me, he's already a champion because he married that supermodel from from Argentina or something like that. I mean, come on. He married a supermodel, just like Brady did. But unlike Brady's supermodel, she has not slept with her Taekwondo instructor. So that's a win. That's a win in my book.
Ah.
All right. You don't know where it came from. First off, rings 1,000 freaking percent mattered to LeBron James. I don't care what crap he's trying to shovel right now. I'm going to tell you why I think he's shoveling that in a minute. But you took your talents to South Beach because you wanted to team up with Bosch and D-Wade and Ray Allen to go win a championship. You won a couple there. And then you didn't return to Cleveland because you just wanted to help out their economy and sell more tickets. Your vision was to return and bring a title to Cleveland. And then you do not go to the Lakers and want to be the main superstar that could not deliver a title. Titles have always been on it, not to mention the fact that this will always be on the internet. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7 titles when they introduced the Big Three down in Miami. Those were his words. You're not going to win 1, not 2, not 3, and so on and so forth. Rings have always freaking mattered to him. The reason why he's bringing it up now is because he will never catch Michael Jordan with the number of rings.
Yeah.
Also, when rings are on the line, Michael Jordan is freaking undefeated. So you've already lost that argument. Michael Jordan is now and will always be the greatest basketball player of all time. Stop comparing yourself. Be okay with being number 2 or 3 all time. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Right.
What is wrong with the thousands of players in NBA history with saying I'm number 2?
Right.
All time. All freaking time.
Right.
And the reason why I might say number 3, Stephen A. Smith brought up a good point earlier on. He brought up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's resume.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good. Right? Yeah. If we thought as a society that rings were the only thing that mattered, the greatest to ever do it would be Bill Russell, who got more rings than he has fingers. He got 11. So obviously, but it does matter. It does matter. Your goal is to not show up on a team and make them happy by just putting on a good show. You want a championship.
He's not saying that. Like you said, he's not saying that because that's something he truly believes. He's saying that because it relates to him personally.
Yeah.
If he had the rings, that's not at all what he would how that conversation would have come out of his mouth. So
it's a long conversation, especially when it comes to me individually.
Yeah.
It's not that long. You have 4. He has 6. You're not even close to undefeated in the finals. He is.
Right.
That's the end of it. That's the end of the conversation right there. Come on. If only rings mattered, Robert Horry's got like 5 because he was always on a winning team.
Right.
And he did help with, see, his nickname's Big Shot Bob. He hit a few of those shots that helped them win. But Robbie Horry has more rings than LeBron James. But that doesn't make him greater just because he has more. You have to have a good combination. You have to be able to deliver. Do you not understand? Like, the city of Phoenix would absolutely slay their firstborn if they can win a title for the Suns. If that's what it meant, they would we would drop 100,000 in population overnight if it guaranteed a title for the Phoenix Suns. Sorry, firstborns. I was the 4th in my family, so nobody says sacrifice the 4th.
I'm the firstborn, so.
I mean, when the time comes, and you're from here, so I will mourn you for at least until next football season. I mean, you know me. I will lay down a jersey on your grave and visit it at the beginning of every football season. I will do that for you. God, it's so cold. All right, LeBron, get the out of here. I mean, why I just muted myself after everything else I've said, I have no idea. I just don't understand where it came from. I don't know where it started.
Right.
You left Cleveland to go get a ring.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Ring chaser. Yeah.
All right. You left every city you've left to go get a ring. You're probably, if you continue your career, going to leave LA because LA is not going to give you a ring this season.
Right.
They're just not.
No.
This coming season.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
You're not. No, you're done. All right. Moving on. Did you hear about the guy who invented the knock-knock joke?
Mm-mm.
He won the Nobel Prize. Ding dong. Think about it. Think about it. All right. Next up, Browns rookie Shedeur Sanders was cited for driving 101 miles per hour just after midnight on Tuesday night. That is,
the season hasn't even started yet. They haven't even gotten into practice, I don't think, right? And he's already.
they've been in OTAs.
Okay.
They've been in rookie camp and OTAs and meetings. He's been
touched the field at least, but
a model player.
Regardless.
If that happened here, apparently it's not the same in Ohio. Here, 20 over the speed limit is criminal. They arrest you. Don't believe me? Ask Hollywood Brown, who got traded from the Cardinals after driving 60 over the speed limit down the 101, which is a mere half a mile from our house.
Right.
He got pulled out of his car. Actually, he didn't get pulled out. They opened the door, yelled at him, told him to get the hell out because he was being arrested. He got out. He didn't pull a Tyreek Hill or anything like that. He said, yes, officer. He got out, and they helped him call his agent to let them know he was arrested. They ended up trading him.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that's not the thing in Ohio. You just get cited.
Right. Well, that's I believe the national standard is 25 miles over the limit, but I might be wrong. But yeah,
before you get arrested?
Yeah, criminal speeding before it turns into a felony. Before it goes from just being speeding to like now you've committed a crime.
20 over here. I barely do more than 10 over. Like I don't trust it at all. I want them to bring the speed cameras back. Can't do that. That's entrapment. Let me ask you this, because I never go off topic. If having a camera that is set up to catch you speeding is entrapment, why isn't having a camera in a 7-Eleven catching you stealing considered entrapment?
Right.
It's the same damn thing you got caught doing wrong.
That's what I always say. Entrapment is when they trick you into committing the crime. That is what you are claiming when you say entrapment. And nobody tricked shit by hiding a camera that you didn't know was there. You just got caught. That's completely different.
That is such a BS thing. That's why there are still cameras here in Scottsdale, because the people voted to keep them.
Yeah.
Because they're smarter than most people on the West Side. I got friends on the West Side. I love you guys, but you guys are dumb. That's it. The people on that side of town are terrible drivers. There are accidents. There are over 100 accidents a day on the West Side of Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's an actual stat. I won't even do Uber on the West Side.
Yeah.
Because I value my life. Unlike others. All right. Moving on. So I decided to sell the vacuum cleaner. It was just sitting around gathering dust. So, yeah. Moving on. What's next?
NBA Finals.
All right. So we're going to touch on this a little bit more. We pretty much already touched on it, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more.
Yes.
The Oklahoma City Thunder are just one win away from the city's first championship. Now, the franchise did win a title back when they were the Seattle Supersonics back in the 70s, I believe.
Okay.
Again, Tyrese Halliburton is questionable and is a game-time decision.
Yeah, they're going to try to get him on there no matter what is probably what's going to happen, but we'll see.
Well, I don't see any way that you're going to be able to tell him he can't play.
Right.
But I think he'll play. just so like he can get out there and see what he can do. But I think he'll miss most of the game.
I actually still think that's more what Jason Tatum's emotions were about when he had his horrifying injury during the game, was the like sheer disappointment. This is the finals and I want to be playing, like hit him more than how much pain he was in. I'm not saying he wasn't in pain, just I think it was the emotions of the game that were more.
Not only that, but they were now
tears.
They probably would have lost that series anyway because they were down 3-1 when he got hurt.
Yeah.
So, or they lost that game to go down 3-1. Yeah,
they lost that game to go down 3-1. Yeah, because they came back and they won one more, and then they.
Yeah, it was
and they lost
4-2
to the Knicks. But, anyways,
Jaylen Brown and Derek White also in the discussion for potential trades. I
thought Derek White was for sure gonna stay.
I don't know. Well, the problem is the Celtics owe a ton of money in the luxury tax world for going over
their
cap.
Limits. Yeah.
They are way over.
Yeah.
Like when they decided to go all in to win last year, they went all in and said, we want the ring because rings matter, LeBron. We want the ring, so we're gonna go all in and pay.
And they did, and they got the ring, so it worked.
And they won. So, unlike the Lakers, who are now one less championship than the Celtics, I'm just gonna keep jabbing LeBron and the Lakers as much as I can. Take that. Yeah, you like that? All right, moving on. All right, what's next?
Temperature of the Suns.
All right, so the question here is, will Kevin Durant be traded soon? So as of yesterday, I took this off of ESPN. 10:30 a.m. yesterday, Kevin Durant wanted to go to the New York Knicks, according to Anscope's Mark Spears. He reported on NBA Today, but the Knicks had absolutely zero interest in bringing him in. Quote, I think these three choices, the Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs, and the Houston Rockets, are by default. He definitely doesn't want to go to Minnesota, but I think there is some fear from him. They're hoping there's going to be some respect at Kevin's age to give him what he wants. I could give two shits on what Kevin Durant wants. All right, because here's the thing. He's a great guy. He's a solid basketball player, but he's 37 years old.
Right.
37. Well, you're not going to get what you would for 30-year-old Kevin Durant.
There's always that aspect in sports, too, what's kind of cold, but it's about your ability, your age, what the team needs. That's that. They don't need you anymore to get traded. If they can't trade you to Team A, then you get to Team F or whatever it is.
If Kevin Durant had delivered a title,
right,
send him wherever he wants. Put him on a beach, buy him a house, whatever the hell he wants. They gave up way too much for what they got back. In the exchange for Kevin Durant, the Phoenix Suns gave the Brooklyn Nets a package, including Mikal Bridges, who was runner-up Defensive Player of the Year to Marcus Smart of the Boston Celtics a few years back. They gave up Cam Johnson, who averaged more points per game this year than one Bradley freaking Beal. They gave up 4 unprotected first-round draft picks and a 2028 pick swap. That's all according to ESPN.
Right.
You gave up. Not only did you give up the house, but you gave up your neighbor's house.
Right.
In the trade. Because you wanted a title. You did not get it. He does not want to stay here. He will not stay here because he wants to go and win a title before he leaves.
Right.
You cannot be picky after what they already freaking gave up for you. And you delivered nothing. They didn't even make the playoffs this year.
Yeah. And even though we're not his biggest fans, he's not a LeBron. He might be a great player, but he's not at that level. So he's not going to be able to throw his weight around. Or if we can jump to a different sport or say he's not an Aaron Rodgers.
I value Kevin Durant way more than I value Aaron Rodgers.
Throw their weight around.
Yeah.
What they want. I don't think he's in that position either.
No. And to be fair, like any team that Kevin Durant goes to, they're going to want at least a 2-year contract extension.
Mhm.
Like they're going to want him for at least a couple years
But
because they're
yeah,
going to give up a lot for him.
right. And he's got a track record that's not looking real great right now.
Yeah, so they're going to have to.
What he's worth investment wise.
He will need to agree to an extension with whatever team they send him to.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, they do not have to tailor. As Toronto scores another run, they do not have to tailor to Kevin Durant. They don't have to. He's a nice guy.
Right.
He's top probably 25 offensive players of all time. I'll put him in the top 25, definitely.
Okay.
Right? As far as shooting big men, top 5 ever.
Okay.
Great. But his value right now is nowhere near it was where it was when they traded for him. I think they in hindsight, obviously they way overpaid for him.
Right.
Way overpaid for him.
Yeah.
Right? Like they would love, the Suns, looking back, would love to have Mikal Bridges in the starting lineup and Cam Johnson coming off the bench, draining threes.
Mm-hmm.
They would love that right now. And they may or may not have made the playoffs with them.
Right.
They did make the finals with them. Think about that.
But then what's one of the flaws that the Valley has had the entire time I've lived here since 1990 is that they'll get a team that gets all the way up to the playoffs of whatever it is, and then they gut it. And like if you had enough of a gelling together that you made it to the playoffs, I'm not saying that like there are still circumstances where you're going to gut it, but I think it probably would be more productive to do some shuffling as opposed to a full. Like you can't do that. Those are the people that got you there for a reason. You got to figure out what they're missing.
Well, here's the other thing, right? How much love are we going to continue to give to Devin Booker?
Yeah.
He's been here his entire career, and the best we've done is second place once.
Yeah. Once. That's the important part. It's not like
he's a liability on defense, but he can shoot lights out, and he, again, is a nice guy.
Right.
But he doesn't play defense.
Right.
But he can shoot.
Quite a bit more of the defense.
I say Durant, Booker, gone. Gone. Shake the earth on this one, Mr. Ishba. Shake it. Like, if you're going to go all in on the future, you're not in win now mode. You do not have the bench to compete. Again, we didn't make the playoffs with Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. Didn't make the playoffs. Didn't even make the playoffs. Didn't even make the freaking playoffs.
Yeah.
And you want to keep them? Well, Bradley Beal, you have no choice. You're stuck with him. At least till 2027.
Right. But you have to start fresh with.
Get rid of everybody else.
So
start bringing in players that know about defense. Start doing that. Don't tell me defense doesn't matter. When they went to the finals, they were a top 5. Coach Williams got there playing top 5 defense. Yeah. Since then, they have been crap. They weren't even top 12 defense in the Western Conference.
Right.
This year. Stop doing the shiny object syndrome.
I could make an argument that defense matters more than offense in basketball because if you can halt the other team from playing, then whatever you're managing to put up is going to be enough.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there's a whole lot of basketball teams that need to hear that message because they
guess which teams are in the top 10 in defense. How about both teams that are currently playing for the title?
Right. Yeah, I can see that. The Celtics do pretty good when they're having an on night, like they're great ball stealers.
since the 2000 season, only one team has been ranked 20th or worse in the NBA in defense and has won a title. And I think it's because they were just that damn good because it was a 2001 Los Angeles Lakers. Mm-hmm. It was the second of their three-peat.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the year before that, they were
days.
ranked 8th. The year after that, they were ranked 6th. But for some reason, the one in the middle, they were ranked 20th with the exact same players.
Right.
It was almost like they accepted the challenge and be like, hey, let's see if we can do it again without playing defense.
Right. We're making
or playing mediocre defense.
We don't even have to try to stop them.
Yeah. Like, we're that damn good. Maybe they were. I mean, obviously, I think they were, because you can't just go from 8th to 20th to 6th with pretty much the same core. They took a year off.
Being intentionally done, yeah.
Yeah, they knew how to turn it up when they had to turn it up.
Some silly games.
That's basically what it was. They turned it up when they had to. Instead of playing, every minute defense, they just said, we'll turn it up when we need to. When the games get close, we'll turn it up. That's how they did it. But outside of the Lakers, no team this century has won a title being ranked 20th or worse outside of the exception in the 2001 Lakers. That's it. 1 out of 25. 26 come 2000 season.
Right.
That's it. Insane. You got to play defense, sons. It's the only way. And they were the first team below the play-in, so they were 11th. They were also the first team with a bad plus minus, which means they allowed more points than they scored.
Right.
So they were the first team outside of the playoffs.
So if they had cleaned up their defense, that would have been a completely different picture.
Yeah.
Very easily.
They would have been playoffs.
Yeah,
would they have done anything with it? I don't know. But at least they would have made the freaking playoffs.
Right.
Unbelievable. What's next?
We back the D-backs.
All right. Diamondbacks are currently taking on Toronto, losing 2-0 in the top of the 6th with Carroll up at bat. They lost the first of 3 yesterday by the final score of 5-4. They are on their way to losing this one in a close game. The bats seem to show up. Today, Eduardo Rodriguez is on the mound. It looks like he pitched pretty good. Only allowed 2 runs through 5 so far. I don't know if he's coming out for the 6th yet. But the MLB trade deadline is actually July 31st. I got January in the
I was like, why are we even mentioning it?
July 31st. The Diamondbacks seem to be in the middle of all of it. Triple by Carroll with no outs.
Yeah.
Giving you the update.
Of course it is.
Nice. Corbin. All right. The other Corbin is injured. Yeah. Corbin Burns. Yeah.
Burns.
That's $200 million right there. Just the luck of the valley. We spend a ton of cash, and it's
all our pitchers just right down the drain.
Right.
They're knock on wood. I don't want to.
So the question is, should the Diamondbacks, who are currently a 500 team, and in 4th place in the West behind the Dodgers, they are currently 8 games back of the Dodgers. They are 3 games behind the final wild card spot, which happens to be another NL rival, San Diego, and in front of them is another NL rival in San Francisco.
Right.
So they could make the wild card. So should they be buyers or should they be sellers? Here's the scenarios. If they are buyers, they are rumored to be in the mix, possibly for a pair of pitchers, according to azcentral.com. The Rockies' right-hand pitcher, Jake Bird, who has a sub 3.0 ERA, and Marlins' right-hand pitcher, Edward Cabrera. They are both on the radar. Now, if they are sellers, Josh Naylor has been playing well of late, and he has an expiring contract. Eugenio Suarez, also known as Gino, is another name that could go, unfortunately. The rumor mill has the Yankees as potential suitors for him. Suarez is going to be a free agent and could net a pair of starting pitchers in Ben Hess and Clark Schmidt, both solid pitchers. One in the Yankees organization, the other is an actual starter for the Yankees, and Schmidt. You don't know Schmidt. They could also deal Zach Gallen Merrill Kelly and or Shelby Miller as well. Diamondbacks owner Ken Kendrick said, quote, if the facts and circumstances suggest investing gives us a legitimate chance to be in the postseason, then we're going to do that.
Okay.
End quote. Buster Olney from ESPN said, quote, Hazen will have a lot of say. Mike Hazen, the general manager of the Diamondbacks, will have a lot of say about what happens at this year's trade deadline because if Arizona decides to trade talent, he'll dangle a highly marketable set of players. Josh Naylor, maybe potentially for the Mariners or the Giants. Eugenio Suarez, Yankees would be in on him because they need a power-hitting right-hander.
Yeah.
Also, they need a better third baseman. Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen would become some of the best options, and other GMs like to trade with Hazen because they find him communicative and decisive.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about losing Zach Gallen. I mean, he's hot and cold, but if we could figure out how to even him out, he could be one of the best pitchers in baseball.
I personally would sell. Diamondbacks just got a run on the board, I think. Yes. Okay, it's 2-1. Ground out by Lourdes Gurriel Jr. RBI ground. So it's 2-1, top of the sixth, 1 out. All right. So they could deal Gallen. I think he's probably he's their best option. If a team needs a pair of solid starters, Merrill Kelly's also an option. Shelby Miller has basically reinvented himself. He has a house here with the fam. He likes it here, but I mean, as far as closers go, he's shown that he can step in with the injury to Martinez, Justin Martinez, and AJ Puck as well. We keep forgetting about him. He's still on the IL.
Right.
So Shelby Miller's done a more than serviceable job stepping into the closer role. So he's got a lot of value. I personally, I'm in blow it up mode for both the Suns and the Diamondbacks. The reason the Diamondbacks, even though they could make the postseason, and you never know what can happen. Like the last time they made the postseason, they went to the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
They went on a run. They beat Philadelphia. It was great. Here's the thing. They play coming up. They have a series against the Rockies. They go on the road to Colorado, the worst team in baseball. They then go on the road to Chicago, crappy team. Then they go here. They've got the Marlins and the Giants. So they have 3 series against 3 pretty bad teams.
Right.
If they can sweep those series, or at least in those 9 games, finish 6 or 7-9, or 7-2, potentially 6-3, 7-2. I'll make them look a lot better. And then you got San Francisco after the Marlins here at home. We got the Marlins and the Giants here at home. That's a wild card spot. Like, you're only a few games behind them. If you can show up, even though the Giants just added Rafi Devers, traded with the blockbuster trade with the Red Sox.
Right.
I mean, I gotta see what happens come next week. By next Wednesday, I mean, I'll be back from being in the press box and covering them. We'll talk about this again. If they finish that series under 500, the biggest problem that the team seems to be having from just the outside point of view, since I'm not the one going and covering the games, is consistency. Well, it's consistency and it's injuries.
That too. You can't control injuries, healthy, but you can control your consistency. You can learn how to.
If they were healthy, like on paper, a healthy team on paper, this should be a postseason team, especially with Corbin Burns. Mm-hmm. Like, they shocked the world when Corbin Burns decided to come here. Mm-hmm. Even though he has a house here because the Brewers, who they came from, have a spring training facility here. So he kept his family here. So this was a good spot for him and will be in the future because he's got a $200 million, 6 or 7 year deal. Right, so he'll be here. He's not going anywhere, but we may not see him until like second half of next season.
Next year, yeah.
Tommy John surgery, which, by the way, Martinez also underwent Tommy John surgery.
Right.
Or is going to have it, but he's done. So, so many injuries.
We have, and it's hit our pitchers particularly.
So many injuries, and it's just, yeah. I would sell right now. I would sell, but let's see where we're at a week from now.
Okay.
Right. All right. So what's next?
NASCAR at Pocono.
All righty then. This is where I get to ramble on for like 15 minutes and tell you everything anything about NASCAR at the Triangle. Let's start with the Cup Series. Next race is the Great American Getaway 400 presented by VisitPA.com. I almost said Visit Pa. I'm like, what the hell's a Visit Pa? It's obviously VisitPA.com because it's at Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania. The date is Sunday, June 22nd. The time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The purse, $11.055 million. You can watch it on crappy Amazon Prime, which we have. I prefer it not to be. I like it on Hulu, but it's on Amazon Prime.
Trickier to watch on Prime. Can't pause or anything.
Yeah, because I like to
during the streaming,
and, go back and so I can write my article and stuff.
Yeah.
Here, there's no pausing, there's no fast forwarding, there's no rewind.
You have to wait until it airs and then watch the playback recording.
Yeah.
Load for you in order to pause and stuff. It's just silly. It's something they could do live. But whatever it is they're doing for their streaming there.
Yeah. The distance of this race is 400 miles. That is 160 laps. Stage 1 goes the first 30 laps. Stage 2 ends on lap 95. And the final stage ends on lap 60. So stages of 30, 65, and 65. All right. So let's jump into some storylines and insights. This weekend marks the 92nd running of a NASCAR Cup Series race at Pocono from 1974 to present. The race to the playoffs is officially underway. Only 10 races remain before the playoffs. 2025 is the fourth straight year that Pocono held at least one race. Denny Hamlin's 7 wins at Pocono are the most all time. Denny Hamlin has more wins at Pocono than any other track. Denny Hamlin, in case you haven't heard of him, is the only repeat winner in the last 8 Pocono races. He won 3 races during that time.
Okay. He just won recently, didn't he?
Yeah. He just won.
If it wasn't last week, it was the week before.
It was in Mexico. SVG, by the way, everybody knows he's a great road course racer.
Uh-huh.
So he showed up and he pretty much dominated that race down in Mexico.
Interesting.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Team Penske went 22 races between their Pocono wins from 2011 to 2024. Last year's Pocono race had only 24 cars running at the finish. Wow, I didn't know that. 19 different drivers finished in the top 10 in the last 2 races. Only Chris Buescher has finished top 10 in both, so he'll be on my team. 3 drivers outside the top 16 in regular season points won this season. That's Josh Berry, Cindric, and Shane Van Gisbergen. To be in the playoffs, you either have to win or you got to be in points. If you don't have the points, you got to get a win. That's what happened with SVG, and that's why he'll be in the playoffs. Chase Elliott won at Pocono in 2023 after crossing the line 3rd and failing to lead a lap after Denny Hamlin first and Kyle Busch second were both disqualified in post-race inspection.
Oh.
I remember that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Chase Elliott leads all drivers in points earned at Pocono in the next-gen car. There was a caution in the first 15 laps in each of the last 7 Pocono races. The Stage 2 winner is winless at Pocono.
Interesting.
William Byron's average finish of 9.36 at Pocono is the best all time. Kyle Larson leads all drivers with 9 top 5 finishes in 2025. William Byron, Christopher Bell, and Denny Hamlin rank second with 7.
All right.
Let's switch over to Xfinity. It is on Saturday, June 21st. It will be the Explore the Pocono Mountains 250. Track length, 2.5 miles. Saturday, June 21st at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a purse of $1.651 million. It is on the CW, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Distance is 250 miles. That's 100 laps. Stage 1 ends on lap 25. Stage 2 ends on lap 50. And the final stage ends on lap 100. So stages of 25, 25, and 50. Let's go down to Xfinity Series notes. This weekend marks the 10th running of a NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Pocono Raceway, all since 2016. So a smaller sample, so let's see what's up. Austin Hill is the only past Xfinity Series Pocono winner in this weekend's field for Xfinity.
All right.
Of the 8 former Pocono winners, 7 are current full-time Cup Series drivers. That's why Austin Hill is the only exception.
Right.
Chase Elliott will be driving the Hendrick Motorsports number 17, his second Xfinity start of 2025. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will serve as crew chief as Marty Lindley serves a suspension for lug nuts at Nashville.
Interesting.
That's cool. Dale Jr. putting on the crew.
Stepping in there, stepping in the
That's
pit.
pretty good. That's what happens when you're a team owner.
Right.
You do that.
Who knows what you're doing?
Actually, that's for Hendrick. Wow, he's doing the Hendrick thing. All right. The last 6 Pocono winners were under the age of 30. Taylor Gray has never finished outside the top 5 at Pocono in Xfinity, trucks, or ARCA. He'll be on my team. Justin Allgaier needs 4 laps led at Pocono to pass Cole Custer for the most laps led there all time.
Interesting.
8 drivers will be making their first Xfinity Series start at Pocono. 6 of 9 Pocono races were won by the driver that led the most laps.
Okay.
3 of the last 6 Pocono races went to overtime. 3 of the last 8 Pocono races featured a pass for the win in the final 2 laps.
So you can kind of expect some drama at the end there. All right.
Ford Racing has won 5 of the 9 Pocono races, but are winless this season.
Really?
There are 11 races left in the regular season, and 6 playoff spots remain open. Taylor Gray and Ryan Sieg are tied at the cut line. The drivers from 8th to 14th are separated by 57 points, less than 1 race of points. So look for some shuffling there. The 4 drivers behind Ryan Sieg in the points are all rookies. Junior Motorsports has won 7 races this season with 5 different drivers. Tied for the most different drivers in a season all time, Justin Allgaier has 3. Connor Zilich has 1. Sammy Smith has 1. Kyle Larson has 1. And Daniel Suarez has 1. Alrighty then. All right.
Alrighty.
That's pretty much. I'm not going to go over the truck stuff. I will. I'll go over the schedule. The truck race is the Miller Tech Battery 200. It is, again, at Pocono Raceway, Friday, June 20th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a grand total purse of $782,900. You can watch on FS1 at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or you can listen on NRN and Sirius XM NASCAR Channel 90. You can listen to all 3 races on Sirius XM NASCAR Channel 90. The distance for this race is 200 miles. That is 80 laps. Stage 1 ends on lap 20. Stage 2 ends on lap 40. And the final stage ends on lap 80. All right. What's next?
The internet is forever.
Forever. This is where I get to have a little fun and go find the biggest dumbasses in the criminal world that line it up on the internet. Here we go. Ready for this? Desperate Kansas man arrested for stealing 800-pound cannon from the Spanish-American War to settle a drug debt.
That is some next level desperate.
What's the most desperate thing you've ever done to settle a debt? Sex up.
It wasn't really settle a debt, but I did find change in my couch one time that I used to buy. Like back when you could get like 2 hot dogs for $1 at Circle K. That's probably that. Did involve theft.
The most desperate thing.
Mechanics for 800 pounds.
Wow. The
Can't.
most desperate thing I ever did, it was before we were dating.
Hmm.
I had rent due the next day. I only had 150 of the 600 that I needed.
Right.
I took that 150 to Talking
Casino?
Stick Resort, right down the street from us.
Yeah.
Sat down at the blackjack table. I played for 14 hours and walked out with $2,800.
Right.
Yeah. I do not recommend gambling. Well, here's the thing. Here's the exception. I do not recommend gambling your rent, but if you don't actually have the rent, what do you really have to lose? A fraction of the rent that you had? Do not take gambling advice from me. All right.
Yeah.
I am pretty
True
good
story.
at DFS though. But I actually, that was one of the, I haven't been to a casino since I think the last time me and you went together.
No, we had our casino date. That was when we started dating.
Yeah.
We played
Because
roulette.
the day before I won like $4,000. So I just had to go back and then we dropped like $800.
It was less than that. I think you gave me 200, and I don't think you spent that much.
You just don't know that I spent that much.
Well, that's true.
But
I
I
can't
mean,
even
we
argue
were
with
able to
your
do
seat
some
with
pretty
that.
cool stuff with that money. So, yeah.
I got my air fryer from that, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, easily.
I've been put
Yep.
to good use.
Yep. Anytime I have money, I always buy you presents.
You do.
Always.
You do. You're very good at that.
You deserve it. They just gave up 2 more runs with a bases clearing, or 3 more runs with a bases clearing.
Yeah.
Double.
Boo.
A loaded double. All 3 runs just scored. That's Vlad. Vlad Guerrero. Son of a bitch. All right. You son of a bitch. You. They should be beating Toronto. This is what I'm talking about. Toronto's not that good of a team.
Right,
They're
right,
not. I think they're a sub 500 team too, or at least close to it. And they you should not be losing to these teams.
Yeah.
All right. What's next? Oh yeah, moving on. All right, so let me tell you about this guy. So a low-level drug dealer stole an 800-pound cannon that was used in the Spanish-American War from a Kansas park last week to settle a debt with his deranged boss who was threatening to murder him and his family, authorities said. Gordon Pierce, 38, was arrested back in May after the 1794 cannon went missing from its podium in a Wichita park and was later discovered. Yeah, your neck of the woods, your old neck of the woods.
They
later discovered, chopped into pieces.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Pierce told investigators that he was a meth user of 20 years and owed his dealer $20,000 after the pound of meth he was supposed to sell was reportedly stolen. He said his dealer threatened to shoot him and his family if he didn't come up with the cash. How much is an 800-pound cannon from Spanish-American War worth?
That's the kind of thing that you would have to know whatever that mystical black market rich people dabble in is, because you would have to sell it there, like auction style, to get tens of thousands for it, probably for somebody's personal collection.
I mean, but if you
like, you could have gone to a construction site and just stole stuff that was already chopped up to sell. Like, why you got to ruin a piece of history, that something that's hundreds of years old?
Well, if you can't trust a meth head, who can you trust? Right? So, Virginia man dressed as Spider-Man steals $10,000 worth of anime trading cards, according to police. A man dressed as Spider-Man allegedly shoplifted nearly $10,000 worth of trading cards related to a popular anime from a shop he staked out in Virginia earlier this month. Joel Brown, 20 years old, is accused of breaking into Gaming Giant, a family-owned collectibles store in Fairfax, and taking off with a stack of valuable cards on the night of March 14th, while wearing a Spider-Man costume that covered his face, according to authorities.
I mean, I see where he was going with it because that's got a pretty complete mask to try to hide yourself. But now that's the image people are going to think of you for all time.
Apparently, he had staked out the store before asking about the valuable cards.
Oh, no.
Which was actually in a safe. So they knew who it was.
Yeah. Wasn't
Next
clever
up,
enough.
a Florida woman. This one's good. A Florida woman is back behind bars just days after being released on bond for drug trafficking after deputies found meth in her tote bag that read, quote, definitely not a bag full of drugs. I saw the photo. It actually said that on the bag. Taryn Acree's latest legal troubles began when the car she was a passenger in was pulled over by a deputy last week. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office wrote on its Facebook page on Sunday. A deputy found, quote, methamphetamine, needles, Narcan, digital scales, small baggies, cut straws, and other items associated with drugs in the bag, according to the Sheriff's Office.
Associated with drug dealing, because that sounds like shit. Everything there to measure out the exact amount you wanted and give it to you.
Acree, 31, was swiftly arrested and charged with trafficking in meth, possession of methamphetamine with intent to sell, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Her new charges are practically identical to the one she's facing from earlier in the month.
Something about that, the drug bag saying, this bag is full of drugs. This bag is definitely not full of drugs, however it was phrased. It has the same vibe of the people that are like, well, that person stole all my crack.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? They go to the police and they go, I got robbed. The police are like, what did they steal? And they go, my crack or whatever it is. Like, bro.
Oh, yeah.
You're not allowed to have that.
No, but it was one of those. It was one of those bags. Like, we've got dispensaries here because weed is legal here. We've got dispensaries, people coming out of there with those things. I've been to the dispensary before. I've done edibles. They have those exact like little zipper carrying bags, right? This one was the exact same thing. It just said definitely not.
But that's always going to bite you in the ass. That's like wearing the people. There's a whole bunch of mugshots of people wearing a shirt that basically connects to whatever the crime is they were arrested for in some kind of a way. Like, I'm definitely not a drug dealer on your shirt.
Or I'm definitely not high. I'm just confused.
Right. Like, I get it. They're funny. But
yeah.
You might as well wear a sticker on your forehead telling the police cops to look at you a little closer.
All right. I will be back in the press box on Monday. I am covering, no, next Friday, as the Marlins coming down, Friday through Monday. Covering for Sports Media X, which is our own brand. If you would like to cover sports like we do, whether it's sitting courtside, standing on the sideline, or getting credentialed to cover your favorite team, it all starts with the right game plan. Join our free Sports Media X webinar and learn how to build your own sports media brand, get behind-the-scenes access, and turn your passion into press credentials. Register now at CoachJeffDemers.com/webinar-registration. Spots are limited. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook for the SV Podcast and Sports Media X. And make sure you follow myself at SmartSide, SMAAHDSIDE, and Lady M at LadyM_S3 on X. Once again, we want to shout out our main sponsor, Mr. Kevin Moore over at Liberty Buick. Apologize ahead of time because he is a Browns fan. I got to rib him a little bit about his future quarterback already being.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Shout out also to our men and women in uniform. Thank you for those that served, and thank you for those that are currently serving. Lady M, what are the final words?
Keep loving sports.
That's the show for now. Shout out to the most badass military in the world and the toughest veterans to ever walk the planet. And as always, all you haters.